they are scared of being judged. They are scared of being condemned. They are scared of being, criticized, basically. So that fear of vulnerability could hinder you from connecting to people or with people. The next is past trauma and hurts, and which Elsie has said also. You see, past trauma and hurts could be from negative experiences from the past, which is what she has just said. And it will make you build emotional walls, basically, because you don't want to get hurt anymore. It will make you build emotional walls that would, cut off people from getting into the real you, right? Because of that past hurt and trauma. And the next is low self-esteem, shyness. Yes, shyness. That could also be a factor. Very correct. You're being shy and you. Okay. And also, you want to say something? Okay. So go ahead. The next is low self-esteem. There are people that just feel that they are not good enough. No matter how much they try to level up with the environment or the people around them, they feel they're not good enough. And sometimes it could be as a result of upbringing. A lot of things some of our parents did, they did it out of ignorance. So this is not calling out some of our parents. They did what they knew how to do best, right? And there were some words they said to us that killed our self-esteem. And growing up, we just felt that no matter what we do, we were not good enough. So that could be a factor that could stop you from connecting. Lack of emotional awareness. Sometimes we don't even understand our emotions. Some people just feel like, well, I'm triggered by anything. Like I just get angry. I don't know what irritates me. You're not aware of your emotions. And because you're not aware of your emotions, you chase people around you because you pour out, it's like you're pouring out anger on somebody that didn't offend you because you are not aware of your emotions. And then the next one would be addiction to phones. And this cannot be overemphasized. And we are all guilty, basically. And this is the reason why we should decide to set our goals in 2024 as regards relationship. Because how do you go into a dinner with colleagues, and it's supposed to be a bonding activity, and you just look in 10 minutes, everybody's on their phone. Nobody is talking, nobody is connecting. Yes, social media is a kind of connection, but it hinders the real connection. You're seeing somebody face to face, but you're carried away by likes and comments on your social media. So if we are not intentional, trust me, these are the things that would stop us from, connecting in 2025. The next one is lack of efforts. Lack of efforts. The truth is, sometimes it's not very comfortable because a lot of times our temperaments don't help. So people that are melancholy, the phlegmatics, the introverts, they would naturally want to be on their own. They would naturally want to tilt to, oh, I'm an introvert, I don't really like communicating. But the truth is, you have to do the things that you don't like to get the results that you like. So if you don't make that effort to push yourself out of your comfort zone, you see, one of the things I learned from Dr. Mervin's class on Thursday was that she said the brain likes those things that it's used to. So the brain likes the norm. The brain likes those activities that they are used to. So over the years, you've told yourself that this is the way you are, and that's just the way I am. I really don't like communicating and talking to people. But you realize that the brain would follow you as far as you push it to the right place. And it's just about that intentionality, about the, practicality of, oh, I'm going to be intentional. Yes, I know that naturally I am not an outspoken person. I'm not the kind of person that would get into the room and, keep smiling. And, Elsie said something yesterday that trying to fake that networking. But for me, I don't think it's really faking it. It's telling yourself that you need to do this, even if you're not comfortable with doing it. So that effort needs to be made. That effort of setting your goals needs to be made. Otherwise, if you just leave yourself and say, oh, that's where I am, you realize that you'll be losing a lot. And lastly, we'll talk about fear of change. You know, the mind doesn't like change. We are stuck to that which we know. And that could really be restricting, because connecting with people would expose you to different aspects of life. It will expose you to, different perspective. And because you are stuck, you are scared of, changing the ways that you're used to, you don't just want to relate with others, so you don't get those perspective, from other people, because you think that you're always right anyway. So those fears can hinder us. And if you look at this list, about 60 to 70% of these factors that hinder our connection has to do with self. It has to do with self. And, this just leads us to how much relationship with self is very, very important. So if you've dealt with trauma in the past, if you've dealt with, abandonment, low self-esteem, you need to tell yourself that it is time to get a solution to that problem. If you need to speak with, a therapist, a mentor, a psychologist, read a book. And the truth is, there's no shame in it, because everyone here, the decision we've made in 2025 is to be intentional and is to have a growth mindset. And if we've said to ourselves that we're going to be having a growth mindset because we want to ensure that we smash our goals in 2025, then there's no reason to be ashamed. It's only here in Nigeria where people think that, going to say psychiatrics means that you are mad. No, it doesn't mean that you're mad. Yeah, so we need to, as much as possible, see how we can take away these barriers away that is, destroying the ability to connect. Yeah. So right after this, we are going to be looking at the disadvantages of not connecting. So we are looking at those things that we have missed out all these years because of the fear of vulnerability, past trauma, anger, pride, all of those things that are hindering us. Trust me, there is a price to pay. And we are going to be looking at that price shortly. So, some of the disadvantages of not connecting. Trust me, your opportunities will be limited. Your opportunities will be limited. Now, do you know that 80% of the job opportunities is through connection? You could be looking for a job, and maybe that friend that you're ignoring, or that church member that you're not speaking with, has an opening in their own office, and she's just looking for the right opportunity to give it to anybody that she can trust. But you're not communicating, you're not connecting, you're just saying hello, hi, and then you're off. So not connecting will definitely limit your opportunities. In fact, you will be in a cycle of missed opportunities, round and round. Things will be happening on top of your head, and things will just be passing you by because you're not connecting, you're not seeing opportunities. And then we look at loneliness and isolation. I see some people leaving the room. I hope it's not the network. Okay, they are joining back. Okay, loneliness and isolation. You see, the truth is that we might say, you know what, I'm fine. But because we are created to be social beings, we are created to connect. It is very critical that we socialize with people around us. Otherwise, loneliness will come in, frustration, depression, and that's what leads to suicide most times.
Yeah. Rub very well.
You mute your mic,
okay.
Tega and iPhone. Thank you. Okay, so loneliness and isolation will be our lots if we are not communicating. Thank you very much. Okay, so the next we would look at is lack of support systems. Lack of support system. Do you have that four crazy friends? So in the Bible, there's this story that the book of Mark told us about how a paralytic man was, looking for Jesus to heal him. And that four crazy friends dug a hole through the roof to drop the paralytic man for Jesus to heal. Just imagine he didn't have friends. Just imagine he had no support system. So the question I'm asking you today, do you have that four crazy friends that can stick their leg down to ensure that you are not left behind? Do you have that support system that you know that when you're, opening your boutique, doing your activities, they're going to back you up? If you don't have them, what are you waiting for? And like Isioma said, joining Yewa already gives you that, atmosphere for you to build reasonable and, valuable connection. You could build reasonable support system. So don't allow all of those barriers we talked about hinder you from getting support system. Do you know relationships are currencies? You can actually pass relationships down to your children. So if anybody here in this call thinks that I have money and I'm rich, and that's the only thing you have, trust me, you are very poor. Because that support system, there are times where your money cannot do that for you. And trust me, that paralytic man, if he didn't have those friends, even if he was a billionaire, he couldn't have done those things that the friends did for him. And let's look at the flip side. I also take a scripture, I think in the book of John or so, it talked about the man by the pool of Bethesda also, that was there for 38 years. Why? Because he had no man. He had no friends. So you can imagine how not connecting could keep you at a place for 38 years. And the shocking part of that story for me is he was okay. Year 1, year 2, year 3, whenever they stir the pool, people that have friends will come and put their friends inside. And he's just there looking at them. So please, let's not be that one that would not have any, support system, that would not have any friend that can stand, with them. And, there's something I got to realize. Money is a function of the value you bring, the connections you make, and the networking skills you have. Those three combinations, as far as you can create value, you can solve problems, you can connect, and you can network, you have money. So if you feel like, you've done so much for yourself without connecting with people, trust me, you have not started, scratching the surface of what God has in store for you. And you cannot fulfill your God-given potential without people, without connecting to people. So we have seen today that we are losing out in so many ways. I personally, I have lost out in so many ways before now, before my eyes popped open that relationships are currencies. I took it upon myself that, in fact, I'm going to be smashing those goals because I will not be left behind. Okay, so quickly, because we'll be setting a lot of goals today, we've talked about this in the previous sections, why set relationship goals. It's the same reason. If you fail to plan, you will plan to fail. And, Isioma said on Thursday, and this really got me thinking, as adults, it's more difficult to make relationships. It's easier when we're younger, we're in school, we see them every day. So if we are not intentional in setting our goals, trust me, we'll plan to fail because life could really be very busy. Life could really, really be very busy. So it's about clarity and direction, better work-life balance. It boosts your motivation when you're seeing that you're smashing the goals that you've set, and then it builds self-confidence. Yeah. And we'll just leave ourselves with this. Together, we can achieve our dreams by setting and working towards our relationship goals. And I'm certain that everyone here will agree with me that it is a worthy cause that we are about to, get into, to set our goals for relationship in 2025. So if we have people that agree with me, can we say yes on the chat box? Let's just say yes. Yes, we are doing this. We are moving out of our comfort zones. We are beating shyness, shame. We are destroying it. Yes. Yes, yes, we are going to be doing this. Yes, please let me get more yeses. Yes, yes, we can do it. We can do it. And trust me, when we begin to get this, steps that we are going to be setting, you realize that it's doable. And when we see the, yes, we are getting responses. When we see the advantages, when it starts yielding, you realize that, wow, is this what I've been missing, so far? So that will be it. We'll just get right into the forms. So before now, the Google Forms have been sent to you and the manual that would help you to fill the forms. So please, if you have that Google form with you, you could just open it. For those that have not set their goals already, we'll be doing it together. We'll be doing it together right away. So if you have your Google form open, please let me just see. Just an emoji to just show that we are together and we've agreed that we are doing this together today. We are setting our relationship goals. Just give any emoji if you know that you're there already. Oh, great. Great. I see you. You're having issues accessing the form. Why is that so? Is there any other person having issues? Okay, I can see Angel. Oh, could it be your network? People having issues. Do we have more people that can open the forms? Let me see that emoji so I'll know if it's a technical issue or it's from the back end.
Nathan, come here.
Okay, I can see this form is accessible to some people. Okay, great, great, great. So we can go ahead. And we are going to be doing this side by side with the manual that was sent to us.
So the issue is that the manual is not accessible to us, only the form.
Oh, okay. Is every other person facing the same? Okay. Okay, so what I can do is, can we all see my screen? Can you see my manual on the screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I'm not certain why you can access the form, but what we are going to do is we'll be doing it side by side, so you can pick your goals from, my screen, if that helps. Okay. I guess we can just go ahead. Okay, so the first section will be to select your ultimate relationship goals that best suits you. So here, we'll basically be ticking almost everything. So relationship itself is really, really very important. So you might be the person that has already defeated that barrier of self-shame, self-doubt, low self-esteem. But trust me, there's still need to prioritize self in relationship. When the Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself, the expectation is that you love yourself. So it's critical for everybody to set self goals. And then for spouse, everybody is taking spouse, provided that you are married or you intend to get married. So the only persons that would not, take the spouse is if you're not interested in getting married. Yes, so if that's clear, we can go ahead. So we are setting goals for extended family members, for those that are married, which includes your in-laws, and your own extended family. And for those that are not married, you're setting goals for your family. So everyone ticks this too. Friendship, everyone needs a friend. So everyone will be taking friendship. Networking for business or career. And I'm certain everyone here will either be interested in networking for business or networking for career, or both, because I'm interested in both. So I'm going to pick that. Okay, so Elsie says the document is what we need to assess, not the form. Okay. Isioma, I think what you're posting on the group is the form, and she needs the document. So please, if you can get that across to them, that'll be good.
Okay, so I posted both, but what you're saying is if you go to the document, you can deactivate the restriction. I think they're experiencing the restriction.
Oh,
So
okay. So please give me
yeah.
1 minute. Let me try and do that from the back end. Okay.
So just anyone should be able to view.
Yeah, I thought I did that already, but I'm just going to check now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, my internet has decided to just delay us. Okay, so while I try to do that on my phone, we can go ahead in our selection so we can get past this first stage. I'm certain that this first stage doesn't really need that document. Okay, so the next goal we'll be setting is children. So this one is only for those that are married, that have kids, or that intend to have kids. So we can set relationship goals for children. And if there is any other relationship that you would like to set for yourself that is not on this list, please you can write it down here. If there is none, we can proceed to the next page. Please just give me 1 minute. Let me do it from my laptop. Okay, that would distract. Okay, let me stop sharing. Okay, so I think it's done now. Can you please confirm if you can have access to it?
Yes, it's working now. Thank you.
It's working. Beautiful. Sorry about that. So we can go ahead with our goals. Okay, so do we have people that are still struggling with the first page we've just dealt with? Please, if you're gone past the first stage, type a yes. Oh, great. Elsie is with us. Okay. Angel, yes, you've gone past the first stage. Please, let's get more responses so we can get this done together. And if you're finding anything difficult on the first page, please just unmute and let me know. We just have 3 persons that have confirmed the first page. Okay, is anyone having any difficulty? Or do you intend to set the goals after now? Please let me get a response. Okay.
I am setting with you.
Sorry?
I am setting mine with you on the call.
Oh, great, great, beautiful. Okay.
So it's better not to procrastinate, actually. Set the goals, do your best. Like I always promise, it's 1 hour, 30 minutes. We're not going to exceed 90 minutes. So if you can dedicate this time to just setting the goals right now and just get it off your to-do list, it would really help. And then you can ask questions, get clarity regarding your goals. So whatever it is that you're doing, if you do not mind, even if you have to use a journal, you're not able to type it into the Google Forms yet. If you have to write it in a journal, write it in a journal so that you can easily transfer to the Google Forms later. But please write your relationship goals. You're already here. Make it worth it, right? You're already here. You're already going to spend 90 minutes with us. So make it worth it. Set your relationship goals and let's get to smashing them. And like I said, we're going to be following up with you for 3 months. And we're going to be dividing ourselves into groups for accountability. So your goals, so we're going to be pairing people. Apologies, you lost me there. So as like I was saying, we're going to be pairing people who believe that their goals are aligned. So please set your goals now if you can. Use a journal, fill it on the Google Doc, whatever you think you can do right now. Please do your best to set your goals with us today. Thank you. Over to you, Maryjane.
Yeah, thank you so much, Isioma. And it's best you do it now, because if you have to procrastinate and then you have questions, it might be difficult for you to, get back. You might not want to take that extra effort to get back to ask questions. So please, we will take our time to explain whatever difficulties you're having now, and that's why we're doing it together. Okay. Okay, so we'll go over to relationship with self, and we'll be looking at what we have on our manual. So like I previously said, relationship with self is the bedrock of everything we are going to be doing. So we have 4 goals on relationship with self. We have build self-love and acceptance, prioritize self-care, set and maintain healthy boundaries, develop emotional resilience. And you don't have to set the 4. You don't have to set the 4. So, but you're going to look through and see truthfully to yourself, where do you think you need to improve on your relationship with self? So if you're dealing with low self-esteem, then you would have to be creating a goal around build self-love and acceptance. So if you're that kind of person, Dr. Marvin told us on Thursday that women take care of every other person for themselves. So if we are not intentional about ourselves, nobody will. So you can see how these goals intertwine. A part of self-goal is talking about prioritizing self-care. And if we've set the goal in our health goals, we don't have to set it again here. So if you've done that already in health, it's the same kind of goals you've set in health that you have in your self-care, prioritize self-care. So if you're a people's pleaser, right? And you know that there are a lot of things you engage in that drain you, a lot of people that drain you or that restricts you from achieving your goal because you cannot say no. You need to set goals around, set and maintain healthy boundaries. So if you know that your emotional resilience is very low, right, then you need to develop emotional resilience. So I don't know if this is clear enough. So I'm going to be picking 1 or 2 goals here as regards self. And I'm going to be picking set and maintain healthy boundaries. So I'm going to copy it right away and put it in my sheets. But I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to ask myself, what are the measurable steps I need to take? Because that's what we are going to be accountable for. So if I'm setting my healthy boundaries, I'm going to be telling myself, I need to practice how to say no. I need to practice how to say no. Now, one of the reasons why it's very important you set these goals is that it gives you direction, right? And when you have direction, you have an aim. So the activities that we engage in that don't help us to achieve these goals, we have to start saying no to those activities, right? So I'll give an instance. One of my health goals this year is to prioritize sleep because I totally failed in that goal last year. You know, with tight deadlines at work, with activities, I just realized that I was sleeping basically 3 to 4 hours on a daily basis. And like the doctor would say, it will show, because one of the highest questions I got last year was, are you okay? Is there anything wrong with you? Like, and you're wondering, how are they seeing it? People can see it. So I've decided to prioritize sleep this year. And, you know, if that's going to be possible, because I'm an early riser, it would mean that I will go to bed on time. And what would that mean? If I've set to go to bed at 9 p.m. every day, it means that if they decide to put a daily meeting at 10 p.m. every day, I'm going to be saying no, because that's not sustainable. And it's not going to help me achieve the goal that I have created. I can make sacrifices once in a while, but every day I'm going to be saying no. So I'm going to be practicing how to say no under my goal. So I'm going to copy this one and put in. So you can just rephrase to say, I'm going to be practicing how to say no. You know, start small. You don't have to say no to everything, right? So it doesn't look like you're selfish, but start small. List out those things that drain you and begin to prioritize your time, because everything is struggling for your time. So we need to be intentional. I'm also going to practice me time, right? So those are the 2 goals I'm going to be setting on healthy boundaries. So this is the second step that I'm going to be taking. I don't know if this is clear enough. I'm taking my time on the self because it's really critical we get this one right. As we move on, I'll have to move faster because we need to ensure that we don't exceed the time mark of 1 hour 30 minutes. So if this is clear enough, can I see a yes on the chat box? If we have any questions as to how to fill this self goal, please let me know. So you can set 1 goal, you can set 2 goals based on your need. So what you're going to be having here is the goal you've set, the actions that you're going to be taking. So if you're going to be doing more than one goals, you're going to be putting it down there and the action you're going to be taking. So is this action that we will be following up on you on? Inena, you want to say something? Okay. Sylvia, thank you very much for that feedback. She said it's clear. So is this a good space to move to the next slide? Is this a good time to move to the next slide? Are we still setting? I think we should just give like 2 minutes more for people to pick their goals on self. We have 25 people on this call, and I'll be so excited to know that at least 25 persons are setting their goals. So even if you're not doing it on the sheet now, which is what is advisable, you can just jot it down and transfer to the Google Sheets later. Please, as soon as you're done with self, just tell me, I'm done. Okay, thank you, Elsie. Angel, thank you.
I get in this call. Sorry, but I think I have to go.
Okay, are we setting our self goals, people? I just have 2 persons that have confirmed that they are done. Okay, thank you. Remember, if you don't take care of yourself, no one will. No one will. Okay, thank you, Sylvia. Okay, so I think we can get over to the next page. Violet, thank you for that feedback. So the next we'll be looking at is relationship with spouse. Relationship with spouse. So here, the question is, what 2 areas would I like to improve my relationship with my spouse? Or what are the measurable actions to take towards meeting my spouse this year? Yeah, so this question covers 2 categories of persons. Those that are married that would like to improve their relationship with their spouse, and those that want to set a goal of meeting their spouse in 2025 or in 2026. So let's go over to our manual. So we'll look at relationship with spouse first before we go over to people that intend to meet their spouse. So what is advisable is to have a conversation with your spouse, really, for you to agree on the goals that you'll be setting for yourselves. Because if there's no mutual agreement, it might be difficult to achieve together. But so let's assume that both of you already know, the part of your relationship that needs to be improved. It could be because, the children could, take all your time, and then work, and then business, and you realize that your emotional intimacy with your spouse is reducing. Trust me, if you remain quiet, it's going to keep going down the drain. It has to be like an intentional step to ensure that your intimacy do not die. So if you fall in that category, and Tamara, you want to ask a question? Okay. So it's an intentional step we need to take to ensure that our emotional intimacy with our spouse do not die. So if you've seen that as a challenge in your relationship, you can pick that as a goal. And the goal will basically be strengthening emotional connection and deepen the bond with my spouse. And if that's your goal, one of your goals for this year, you then need to pick measurable steps that you can be accountable for, right? You can decide to, ensure that there's a 15 minutes, deep talk, without phones, without distractions, right? During the day. So it doesn't have to be these steps. I'm sure that you know what works for you. If you can check up on your husband during the day at work, just drop a few minutes call, how are you doing? How's your day going? And all of that. That would be good. If you can set, okay, Isuma, you want to say something?
Yes, actually, I have a question.
Go ahead.
What if the goal is okay, so what if the goal is to restore like the spark in the marriage relationship? Probably husband and wife are not even in talking terms, and maybe the wife wants to take it upon herself to ensure, that this year they do better, right? So what kind of goals can we set without, waiting for the husband to be in agreement? Because sometimes, the husbands are not usually always in agreement, right? So are there goals that we can set to improve, the relationship with our spouse and restore the spark?
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Isuma, for that question. I understand what you mean by, men might not always be in agreement. So I totally understand. But first, you have to reflect the cause, the root cause of that distance. It could be unresolved conflicts. It could be probably work, and we've not been intentional to ensure that, work hasn't stepped into our relationship to cause a gap. It could be unforgiveness. So first, you have to do that reflection to try to find out what could be the cause, right? And you need to start taking that action, even if he doesn't seem to be in agreement, because your obedience have to be complete. Yeah, your obedience have to be complete before you can correct the next person. So I think you can set goals based on the cause. So if you know that it's conflicts that has been causing this, distance, for instance, you can set goals around, resolving conflicts, without issues. It could be communication gap. It could be the way he receives what you're saying or misunderstanding. So it's basically based on what is that root cause of what is causing that separation or that quietness, and you set your goals around that. It could be communication. It could be probably not aligning spiritually. Yeah. And then you create goals that, okay, intentionally, I'm going to, start putting it upon myself to ensure that I start going to church, I start praying about it. So if it's spiritual disconnection now, I start going to church to, I start connecting with God myself. Okay, so your question is, so could it be deciding now to engage in conflicts? Do you mean conflict resolution? Oh, okay. Okay. So yes, I get your question. So yes, it first has to start from you. Of course, deciding not to fight, deciding to overlook some things, deciding to, you know, accept not throwing blames. Yes. So if it's conflict that is causing it, you first need to, step back and ask yourself, what can you do right? Have I been responding to him harshly? So start from yourself and start creating that goal for yourself. Yeah, so Isoma, I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
All right. So are we on the spouse goal setting? So for me, I would want to strengthen my communication. So I'm going to be taking this. So, and of course, a healthy work-life balance for me. So these are the two areas that I want to improve in my relationship with my spouse. So if I come down to the next question, I'm asking what measurable actions do I need to take to ensure that I meet these goals that I've set for myself? So I can schedule an uninterrupted, deep conversation once a week. You realize that we are really so distracted. We are distracted with work, with kids, with phones, and we are basically not listening. We are not listening. So we can set a measurable step intentionally. Okay. So I guess this should work for me. No work after 8 p.m. So if you notice, you would see that these steps are measurable. You basically can measure on a daily basis. You can, keep like a calendar to say, did I walk past 8 today? Okay, so what did I do after 8? Did I have the deep conversation per week and all of that? So because that would keep you accountable. I would also want to plan a weekend getaway, maybe not per month, maybe once in 3 months, a weekend getaway, and probably maybe a dinner out of the house once a week. So remember, if the steps that you would like to take is not on this manual, please feel free to tilt it to what suits you. Yeah, so I'm coming over to the singles. Yes. I just want to finish with the married people. I'm coming over to the singles. So the next one will be for the singles that intend to meet their spouse. You intend to meet your spouse. So the only goal you're going to be setting as regard this spouse section is to find and to build meaningful, lasting relationship, life partner. Or you could just simply say, to find a husband in 2025, it can be that simple. Yeah, so that's the goal. And that's what you'll be putting in the first part. In this first part, that's what you'll be responding. Yeah, so what are the measurable steps? Because that goal looks very vague. Everybody wants to meet their spouse for those that are interested in meeting their spouse. But the real question is, what do I do? What do I need to do? The very first step, again, is self-preparation. like Isioma said, when she finished writing her goals, she asked herself that, is she that kind of person that the person she has written about will want? So sometimes you hear people say, I want him to be rich, I want him to be handsome, God-fearing, and all of that. So you're going to be asking yourself that same question. Am I the person? If I'm that person, will I want to marry me? That's the first question we should be asking ourselves. So we have to self-prepare. And I think the very first thing in self-preparation is putting down your values as a person, because this is going to streamline the kind of persons that, you get into a relationship with. Because if you don't build your values, if nothing guides you, you're like a city without a wall, and anybody can come in. And that's why you see people, oh, he broke my heart. There were no, yes, things could happen, life could happen, yeah, but it's safest for you to have that values created first. So first, you're starting with yourself, and then you're going to be defining your ideal partner based on the values that you have written. And first, remember, you have to ensure that you're living up to the values that you've set for yourself. So you can then decide that I have to improve my self-awareness. So all of these steps depends on the parts where you know that you are deficient in. If you look through these steps and you know that, oh, I'm doing very well in self-awareness, then you don't have to set goals around there because you're doing very well already. You're doing very well in, personal well-being, taking care of yourself, ensuring your hair is properly done, your nails, just like Dr. Marvin, told us on Thursday. Then you don't have to set that as goals. And, this step is really very important. You need to set those relationship goals. Be clear as to what you want. Be clear as to what you want. Don't say, I just want to see how it goes. No. If it's marriage you want, put it down that this relationship, I want it to get into marriage maybe in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years. So you're clear as to what kind of relationship you're seeking for. So the next step we are taking. So now, let me just go back to the sheets to guide you. On this first part for the singles, you've written your goal, which is to look for a husband in 2025, right? Or that's the goal, to get a husband in 2025. I'll just move faster. That's the first goal. And then the steps to take. We are picking steps from the manual. And the steps are expanding your social cycle. What are you doing inside the house all the time? Go out, join communities, join workers in church, connect with people, expand your network, right? You also need to be intentional. Intentionality is the key. So, I was very slow to put in online dating, right? But I realized that they are Christian online dating. And remember, if you have created your values will guide you. So even if you're seeking for relationship online, because people have gotten meaningful marriages, yes, connection that led to marriage is online. So you have to put that as a goal too. You have to be visible, right? And then the next step, you have to deepen connections. Just look at any of these goals and feel it as what you need to do. Yeah, so that would be that. I think we'll need to move faster so we don't stay here for too long. We have less than 20 minutes to round off. So I think we can move to the next one. Have we all set our spouse relationship? Sorry, our spouse goals. So if I get a few yes, we can move on to the other one. Okay, Chip, please could you mute your mic? I think there's a bit of noise at your background. Please let me get a yes so we can move on. Thank you, Elsie. Angel, thank you. Okay, Sioma, thank you. Yes. 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 So remember, we are making a conscious effort to set these goals. Violet, thank you. Knowing that it's achievable. And that's why our advice, don't set too much because you can't do everything at the same time. Just set what you know, something that is achievable. We heard about the SMART goals, you know, Thursday and Friday. So we know what SMART goals are. Just ensure that they are achievable. Okay, so relationship with our extended family and with our family. So life could really be very busy, very, very busy. And if we are not intentional in keeping touch with our family members, you just realize that the months pass, the weeks pass, and there's really no connection. So we will be committing to probably doing a video call, a family video call. You could create a family WhatsApp group, you know, so just check up with family every day, every 2 days, put chat on the group, or how's everyone doing and all. So I will be setting this.
Ogechi, please, can you mute your mic?
So a lot of times you see, you know, conflicts within family members. You can decide to be an active listener. You can decide to be an active listener. So don't listen to respond, listen to understand. A lot of us, we listen just because we already have a premeditated response we want to give. So that causes misunderstanding, not looking at things from the other person's perspective. So you can set that as a goal for yourself. You can decide to show up for family activities. Even if it's not all, if it's too frequent, whenever your sister is doing a child education, don't give excuses. Try your possible best to be there if it's within your space. When they are celebrating, be there to celebrate with them because these things strengthen family bond, you know. So I think that's pretty straightforward on our family and extended family goals. Okay. So are we flowing at the same pace? Can we move over to the next goal we are setting? Okay. So relationship for friendship. Like I asked in my presentation, do you have that 4 crazy friends that can think for you when you cannot think for yourself? that if anything happens to you tomorrow, you can beat your chest to say your children will not suffer. Yes, because friendships are currencies. So the question here is, what ways will I improve my existing friendship? So probably maybe you have friends before now, of course, friends that align to your values. Friends that align to your values. If you intend to, if your aim or if your goal is improving the existing relationship you have, then you need to be intentional to pick goals on communicate regularly. Communicate, because communication creates connections. And if you don't communicate, you just realize that that friendship is dying and it's on the surface level. So if you're that kind of friend that would speak to your so-called friend once in 6 months, know that that is not a friendship, that is a currency that you can use in purchasing anything. So be intentional, be intentional. And you have to be that friend you want your friends to be. So if you're expecting to have that valuable friendship, you have to be that valuable friend first. It starts from you. So take it upon yourself to communicate regularly. You can schedule a calling time, maybe once every week or once every 2 weeks, depending on your schedule. You can set reminders for birthdays and important dates, to send messages to them or to send gifts to them. These things are important. They are really very important. We might think it's minor that, oh, maybe she's not going to notice, he's not going to notice, but trust me, those gestures, just make that bond stronger. So I'm going to be setting these goals for myself. You can also decide to set goals around showing support and appreciation. This is really critical. Like the example that I made in the Bible, that those false friends took the paralytic man, broke the roof, and ensured that, he got Jesus's attention. Be that friend that will show support. Don't be that friend that whenever they call you for help or support, you're giving excuses. Don't always give excuses. Make sacrifices for friendship. Yeah. So when they need emotional support, don't be that person that will criticize them. Try to put yourself in their shoes. So I'm going to be setting goals around that for myself. If you realize that you're always quarreling, you have to set goals around resolving conflicts quickly and respectfully, without having to hurt people's emotions, because unresolved conflicts will definitely weaken friendship. You guys will just go silent with time. So avoid using the you statements. Oh, you said. You can make statements like, oh, I feel, without blames. That's a better way to resolve issues. Just talk about your feeling and don't accuse the other person of what he has done or what she has done. Yes, so I'll go over to making new friends. Making new friends, of course, you have to expand your circle. You have to be approachable and open. Don't be carrying, a closed face all around. You have to be friendly. You have to open up. In the Yewa network, don't be that one that will be quiet. You have to be approachable, whether it's online, whenever we meet physically, have a smiling face, make eye contact. Yes, so those are the kind of ways that you can make new friends. And when you meet people and you've seen that this person's value aligns to yours, you need to be sure that, you're keeping up, you're following up, you're keeping in touch. So don't just meet someone that you think that, can fit in as your friend based on the values that are matched together. Don't just meet that person and walk away and don't keep in touch. You lose that friendship. So you have to be intentional in setting goals to follow up and keep in touch if you intend to make new friends. And be slow to speaking. That's why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. 2 ears because God wants you to listen more, and 1 mouth so you speak less. So people like friends that can listen to them, that can feel what they are feeling. So you also have to set that goal for yourself and be genuinely interested. So you're not listening because you just want to hear gists. No, you're listening because you are genuinely interested in this person's well-being. Yeah, so if you intend to make meaningful connection through friendship in 2025, you should be setting these goals for yourself. I guess we have to run through quickly. I think we just have 2 more to go. So the next is networking and networking for career or for business. So first, you have to determine why you want to network. Are you networking for business? Are you networking for career? If you're networking for business, do you intend to extend your clientele, your client base? Do you intend to, get an industry mentor? What exactly is your goal? So for me, I would take a career goal and a business goal because I'm interested in both. And then measurable steps. So if you're interested in career goals, then you need to at least attend 2 industry conferences and networking events per quarter. You need to join professional organizations. Yes, joining Yewa is a very good platform to network. It's across Africa. And yes, we might be, 25 persons on this call or less today, but trust me, this network has potential to explode and it surely will. So take it as an advantage that you're going to be connecting to people right from the base, right from the scratch, right? So when we have connections from the entire Africa, we are definitely going to like what's it called now? The boundaries will be too small to stop us. Nothing will be stopping us from connecting with women all around the world. So we have to be intentional. We definitely have to be intentional. So you can just go through and pick either your career, the reason why you're connecting. Is it for career? Is it for business? You can take in steps to ensure that you get that done. Isioma, please, could you appeal for us to get 5 more minutes from my own side, 5 more minutes? Will that be okay?
Okay. Yes, we can do 5 more minutes. Apologies, ladies. Please, let's extend the time so that we can complete the forms. Today is the last day, so let's do everything we can to ensure that we complete the forms today. Thank you. You can have 5 more minutes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Isioma. Thank you. So, are we setting our career goals? Our networking goals, rather. Networking either for career. So if you would like to change your job, if you would like to know what's happening in your industry, it's advisable to get a mentor, right? You need to be in that environment where the people that are the tops in your industry are. You need to find opportunities to connect with them. It could be through LinkedIn, it could be, through professional organizations. Just get yourself out there. basically. And then when you're connecting, don't have a mindset of always receiving. You also have to add value. So be that person that is willing to give, because you cannot always receive, and that's not relationship. Relationship is a give and take situation. So try to make yourself valuable, improve yourself, and be ready to also give. And increase visibility. You see, many years in my life, I was sitting at the back seat, not because, God has always blessed with intelligence, but I just felt that it was enough for me, and I lost a lot of things. I could be in a group and I would keep quiet, things would pass over my head and I would not say a word. You will not connect effectively if you decide to allow your temperament to stop you from getting into all of the advantages we've talked about, from reaping all of the advantages we've talked about on connecting. So please be visible. If you're having connection for a profession or a career, you have to be visible on LinkedIn, because most recruiters, they're on LinkedIn. They want to see what you're posting. They want to see the value that you're adding, right? And it's easy for them to poach you. A lot of jobs have been gotten from LinkedIn. Why? Because of that visibility. So if you want to be connecting to, if you want to create connection through LinkedIn, I would also advise, don't let your LinkedIn page be sleeping. You have to update your LinkedIn. And this same visibility also applies to people in business, and you're using social media to expand your business. Please do not post once in 2 weeks or once in 3 weeks. You need to engage people. If it's a daily post you need to do, or maybe once in 2 weeks, once in 2 days, ensure that you're visible. Let people see you. Let people know that you're there. Don't be quiet, right? And this will definitely help us to expand our network. Okay, so I think we can go over to the last. And then, yeah, this is the last sheet. This would be for single mothers, people that are not married and have kids. This would be for married people that have kids, or yeah, so if you don't have kids, I'm not certain that you should be setting this goal now. Yeah, but it's okay to learn, right, from it, because of course, when your children come, it'll be easy for you to bond and create meaningful connection with your kids. Okay, so one of the goals we'll be setting is build strong emotional bonds. The children we have in this generation, one of the, would I say, deficiency they come with is self-esteem, right? And if they don't get that bond, if they don't get that love from the house, they try to get it outside, and those ones outside, we definitely fail them. So they lack that self-esteem at the end of the day. So it's necessary to intentionally build bonds with your children, right? The best thing we can give to them is our time, our presence, more than the presents we buy. So it's really very important for us to set intentionally goals that relate to creating bonds for our children, with our children rather. So you can decide to spend 10 or 15 minutes daily on a one-on-one with your child or with your children. You can have pillow talks without distractions, keep away phones, because that child wants to know how much, that's attention you're giving. It translates to love, it translates to acceptance, and it builds their self-confidence. So it's really very important to create goals as regards that. And then you have to be, foster open and honest conversations. A lot of things are happening to kids nowadays, and they are scared that if I tell mommy this, mommy will beat me, or mommy will shout at me. you have to, if your kids see you in that light, you have to intentionally set goals that relate to fostering open and honest conversation. Give them that environment where they can tell you anything without judgment and criticism. So we have to be setting goals as regards that, if that's a place that we are deficient in. Creates fun and lasting memories with your children. It helps them. You could create family rituals. You could celebrate birthdays. You could have family outing once a month, or once in 2 months, or once in 3 months. Just intentionally set these goals, because if you don't, other things will take your time. Trust me, other things will take your time. I think my extra 5 minutes grace that I was given is utilized already. But I want to know how many of us have gotten here. Please let me hear let me see on the chat box. I am here if you've gotten here. Please let me just see, I am here. I am here. So we can just use the next 2 minutes to take questions. Great, Angel, thank you very much. Elsie, thank you very much. Who else is here? Who else is here? Who else is here? Just, can we get feedback, or do we need, oh, Tamara, thank you. Thank you very much. Flourish, great, great. Great to know that I'm not alone. Flourish, thank you. Who else is here? We still have quite a number of persons on this call that we haven't, and we agreed that we are going to be connecting today. So let's not be silent. So even if you're not filling on the form, you would have been jotting down somewhere. Who else is here? Vivian, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, great, great. We have quite a number of persons that are here. So we are going to be making this commitment, because before we can be accountable to any other person, we have to be accountable to ourselves. So we have to commit to, staying true to all of these goals that we have created, and, making meaningful connections to fulfill all that God has called us to be in 2025. So if you are here, can we click on submit? Can we click on the submit button? Okay, so Isioma, over to you. If there are any questions, please, you can feel free to unmute your mic and ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Please just let Maryjane know how much we have valued our session this evening. Just say thank you in the chat box. Thank you so much for committing your time. It was, in fact, let me not say much about all that you had to go through, or all that you had to do to ensure that you were at this meeting. We do not take it for granted. We appreciate you. And just to say that, yes, I see them already calling you MJ. Thank you, MJ. Yes, so yes, so all right. So just to let you guys know that MJ, Maryjane, is going to be one of the coaches that will be keeping you accountable to your goals. I'm just going to use the remaining 3 minutes to just tell you how the accountability program is going to work. So we're going to, like I said before, we're going to be dividing everyone into who is interested. I don't think maybe I'll be glad if everyone is interested in being accountable to their goals this year. But we're going to be grouping as many people as possible who are interested into 3 or 4 groups, right? So there will be a goal sister. You have goal sisters, a goal coach, which could be either Meme, Dr. Mavi, or Maryjane. So any of these 3 people can be in your so it could be your coaches for the next 3 months, right? As long as you're a member of Yewa. And also, we're going to be rewarding people for smashing their goals. So if you are the person who smashed the most goals in the month, we're going to be giving you a free shopping voucher. So it's going to be a very fantastic experience. And I hope that I get to see every one of you in those rooms. Thank you so much for joining Yewa. I know many of us, some of us have been in Yewa for quite a while, but many of us have just joined Yewa recently. You just took the leap of faith and clicked the registration button. I hope the sessions were worth it for you, and I can assure you that we have a lot more coming up in the following weeks, days, and months. All right, so if you have questions, okay, yesterday, Meme offered a one-on-one. She offered, no, not one-on-one, maybe 3-to-1 session with a few people who said that they've not gotten clarity on what they are supposed to be doing this year. So if you haven't, I already have names. I have about 7 people who indicated interest yesterday, and I have their names already. So if you haven't indicated that you like to be part of that session to get clarity for your year, business or career-wise, please indicate so that I can add your name to the list. And finally, I'm going to be dropping an Instagram link. So I just made a post on Instagram asking for your feedback on how the program went, because I want the world to know that, we attend a lot of these programs, we attend a lot of these seminars, but I just really want the world to know that, something awesome actually happened in this past 3 days. I'm very grateful for the numbers. We had at least 25 people. I think we had almost 30 or more people on the first day. We had about 28, and today we had about 25. We had about 25 people today. I just want to say that I'm really grateful that you spared your time to do this with me, to do this with the team, and to do this with the community of women that you now have in your corner. Let's just pray quickly. Our God, we thank you. We thank you for the opportunity to do this. And we pray that this will just be the beginning of, of us manifesting all that you have in store for us. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you, everyone. Bye. So you can just say bye in the comments. Yes, so make friends. So you guys are not even, I'm not seeing you guys engaging with each other in the chat room. Be sure to make friends. Be sure to meet people and have people in your corner. And if you have something that's happening and you'd like us to celebrate, maybe your graduation, the opening of your business, we'll be more than happy to give you a shout out on the Instagram group. I'll drop the link to the post that we made. So please just engage on our Instagram post and let people know how awesome this past 3 days have been. Thank you, Maryjane. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed day ahead. Bye. For
Thank
now.
you,
Bye
Yewa.
for now.
Thank you, sister. Bye. Thank you, everyone.